So today we're going to be reading the Xeno-Hero, a Bnha x xenomorph male listener up in here. We are currently in chapter 4, but we're going to go back up chapter for the purpose of thy recap. So basically, if you guys do not remember, we're kind of in Zuko's old old childhood, you know, his past, like in his childhood. Where Kachan, aka Katsuki, bullied him during these times, and we would end up having to go save his ass, pretty much. And we're just like, so that was like at the beginning front here, and then down here we go back to the current time, or in the very beginning of the anime, where, you know, we see this scene where basically is a villain and a hero fighting, then intrudes another giant hero. I forgot what her name is, but we should see her in a hot minute. And basically YN and him are checking it out, you know, because Izuku is like into, you know, hero analysis and whatnot, and he's not analyzing the fight. So he ends up taking him to a higher place, aka like a building high, you know, the roof of a building. They ended up watching the fight and getting into details about it, and etc, etc, etc. And just, you know, Izuku analyzing. After that, he Xeno, I'm gonna call him Xeno. No, YN is better. YN ended up, you know, dropping him off at his school, his middle/high school. I don't remember. And he was like, okay, go home, I'll be there soon. But we ended up not doing that, and instead just watching him from the window, where the teacher, which I say this teacher should be fired so fast, because he's just trying to cause conflict. He is there for the conflict, petty conflict for some reason. And, you know, everyone's excited, wanting to go to UA, wanting to become a hero, a lot of stuff. Then he's like, the teacher's like, as that is going on, he's like, oh yeah, Midoriya, don't try to go to UA too. Nah, he's evil teacher. And then we end up having to step in because, you know, Kachan's being a little bitch, and, you know, we had to threaten them, almost kill him. Izuku's like, don't kill him, and then I'm just so disappointed in him. And, you know, the teacher ended up getting quiet and be put in his place real quick. And I'm like, oh my goodness. He got put in his place real quick. And we end up, you know, pretending leaving, but we end up just going on the roof and just clinging, like, on it and hiding, which is kind of a little creepy. Then Katsuki and his stupid ass goons end up trying to pick a thing with Izuku. We ended up coming down, saving the day. It's just crazy, guys. It's crazy. After that, they end up riding to the sunset, while Midoriya, thinking of a flashback where basically found out he didn't have a quirk, crying while watching a video that probably kids his age should not be watching, of all my saving lives and whatnot. He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, can that be you? You know, just like the sadness of it all. Y'all guys know. And he's like, no matter what anyone else thinks, I have to believe in myself, and I'll keep smiling just like him with YN by my side, and going crazy, going a little crazy. Then we ended up meeting the sludge villain, where, you know, he's like nasty. Long story short, we ended up poking his eye out, you know, taking his eye with us. We meet All Might after he went through a sewer trying to find the sludge villain. While, you know, we try to ask for an autograph, we end up getting an autograph, and we end up, Zuko for some reason ends up grabbing All Might's leg, trying to ask a question, and we're skipping all the way down, and he asks the question, guys. where he didn't get the greatest answer in the original anime, which I don't know. I'm just disappointed, okay? But this is his question that he asked All Might. Is it possible to become a hero even if I don't have a quirk? I'm a normal kid without any powers. Could I ever hope to be someone like you? And I know the answer. You guys might know the answer, but not all. So it may not be the greatest answer. All right. Before we get started officially, let's get some of them warnings started. For these warnings, there will be mentions of bullying, murder, fighting, loud explosion/gun sounds, and threats. These are just some of the basic warnings for this story. If you do not like those, you should probably not watch this video at all. You have been warned. Chapter 4. What it takes to be a hero. Lion POV. My king! What should I do? That human Izuku held on to jumped a great distance away, but it's not my job to complain. It's to follow and protect my king. His scent is still here. If I'm quick enough, I might be able to catch up with them. I began to follow the fleeting scent of Izuku and that other human while running on all fours. Hang on, Izuku, I'm on my way. I swear, if that human hurts you physically or emotionally, I will slaughter him. Izuku POV. Izuku. Despite everything, I still dream. And I have to know, is it possible to become a hero even if I don't have a quirk? I'm a normal kid without any powers. Could I ever hope to become someone like you? Oh my, without a quirk? Oh no, not now, not here. Izuku, people think I don't have a chance and not having some kind of powers makes me a weakling. My classmates like to make fun of me, but you know what? That makes me want to prove them wrong. Ever since I was a kid, I thought saving people is the coolest thing you can do. I want people to see my fearless smile and feel safe and be the kind of hero everyone looks up to. Just like you. Third POV. The bottle containing the sludge began to shake as he finally awakened. Sludge villain. Ugh, where am I? What happened? And basically the flashback where Ryan took his eye. Period. Sludge villain. Oh yeah, those bastards. If it wasn't for them, I'd be out of town already. He began to hear several voices coming from behind him. Even though he couldn't see them, yet he could still tell that they were kids. Goon, that was rough. Are you alright? That thing had a tough, strong grip on your neck. Goon 2. Yeah, you almost passed out. Katsuki, shut it. That thing caught me off guard. If I knew it was hiding there, I would have taken care of it. Ooh. Ooh, you look at it and take care of you, you son of a bitch. Gave you to a cannibalizing coal, I tell you. Ooh. I don't know if those exist. Do they exist? I'm pretty sure they exist. Sludge villain. Ugh. Excuse me. I ran a little head, sorry. To release some of that anger, he kicked the bottle, imprisoning the villain. The sludge villain. Ugh. Anyway, the impact caused the cap to fall off, allowing the villain to escape. Goon 2, you shouldn't have wasted your time on Midoriya. He's got that dog that follows him everywhere. Flashback. Katsuki's POV. I was about to say something when I was pushed with so much force into the wall that it slightly cracked. When I looked up, I saw that damn animal Deku found. It raised his bladed hand intending to kill me. I glared at it, but I could tell it could sense my fear. But before it could kill me, Deku whispered something to it, and it just looked at me before turning away. I don't need him to save me. I didn't need help, especially from a quirkless bastard like him. You know, him being insecure as hell, y'all. And the flashback. Katsuki, someone's got to teach that worthless nerd how the world really works. I just got to find a time that damn pet of his isn't around to do that. As he was talking, he exploded the cannon in his hand before tossing it aside. Goon 1/Goon 2. Hehehehe. Goon 1. Hey, I got an idea. We should go to the arcade. Get your mind off of it, you know? Katsuki. Fine. Goon 2. Or we could sneak into the bar at the station. Pick up some ladies. Goon 1. Now that's a good idea. Katsuki. Idiots. Goon 2/Goon 1. Katsuki, if we get caught, there is no way UA would let me in. They didn't notice the sludge behind them until it rised up. Goon 1/2. Hey, what's that? Katsuki turned around and saw the sludge villain, but its right eye was gone. Sludge villain, perfect. I like a skin suit with some fire. Oh yeah. Zuko POV. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Zuko POV. Alright, wait. What happened? You deflated. Where did All Might go? You're not him. You're fake. An imposter. All Might, I assure you, I am All Might. And then, bleh. Blood came out of his mouth, surprising me. Zuko, impossible. All Might, you know how guys at the pool are always sucking in and flexing and trying to hold their buff? I'm like that. Zuko, this can't be real. No, I'm dreaming. All Might is of a giant man who saves everyone. He defeats all obstacles and wins the day with a fearless smile. There's plenty of fear behind that smile. I'm counting on you to keep your mouth shut. Don't go talking about this online or telling your friends. He lifted up his shirt, showing a very terrible looking scar. Oh my, pretty gross, right? I got this from a big fight 5 years back. My respiratory system was basically destroyed. I lost my whole stomach. All the surgeries have pretty much worn me out, and it can't be fixed. Right now, I can only do hero work for about 3 hours a day. The rest of the time, this is what I look like. Izuku. No way, 5 years ago. So does that mean it was a fight with toxic chainsaw? Oh my, wow, you know your stuff, but no. The punk may have landed some hits, but he couldn't bring me down. Most of the world has never heard of this fight. I did everything I could to keep it under wraps. I'm supposed to be the guy who always smiles, right? I'm the symbol of peace. People everywhere have to think that I'm never afraid, but honestly, I smile to hide the fear inside. It's just a brave face I put when the pressure is high. This job isn't easy. As he was about to speak again, Wyan came over the railing. When he saw me, he tackled and began to nuzzle his head against me. I guess I really worried him when I pushed him and latched onto All Might. Oh my god, bros before hoes, man. Oh yeah. Anyways, Wyan POV. I scaled the building and climbed on the roof of the scent was coming from, and when I did, I saw Izuku with a different human, but his scent was still the same. Regardless, I tackled my king and began to nuzzle him while slightly purring. Izuku, hey, Wan, sorry I left. But look, this is All Might. He pointed over to the human that looked at me in surprise. All Might, young man, who is this? My king gently pushed me off and stood up before answering the human. I was still sitting next to him as he patted my head. Izuku, this is Wyan. I found him when I was 4 years old. He's really changed my life, but I don't know what kind of creature he is. The human got up and reached a hand to touch me, but before he could, I stood up and screamed in his face. This surprised him enough to fall back and looked about ready to fight. He was getting too close to me and Izuku, and I was prepared for a battle before Izuku grabbed my arm. Izuku, stop, Wyan. I'm sorry, All Might. He's just very protective of me. The human calmed down but started to slowly walk over to a door nearby. All Might, it's alright. That means he's just loyal to you. Anyway, back to your question. Pro heroes are always having to risk their lives. Some villains just can't be beaten without powers. So, no. I honestly don't think you can be a hero without a quirk. Disrespecting your ancestors back there, but okay. When he said that, my king's breathing stopped for a moment. When I looked in his eyes, I saw the hope that was once there gone. I let out a low hiss as I raised my bladed hands. This human made my king sad. He broke his hope, so now I shall break him. Period. It seems Izuku knew my intentions as his grip on my arm tightened. Izuku, I see. All Might, if you want to help people, there's plenty of other ways to do it. You can become a police officer. They get crap because the heroes capture most of the villains, but it's a fine profession. It's not too bad to have a dream, young man. Just make sure your dreams are obtainable, realistic, Understand? Back then, people believed they couldn't go to the moon. Guess what? We went to the moon. We went to the moon. So, no. Excuse me. No. I believe not. We gotta make them attainable, you know? When it doesn't seem obtainable, it's probably obtainable. Anyways, when the human left, Izuku released my arm and looked deep in thought. I gently lifted his face and pressed my forehead to his and purred. He quietly chuckled and hugged me as I returned the embrace. Not long after, an explosion could be seen and heard in the distance. This seemed to get his hope back as he seemed excited. Izuku, a villain. I wonder which hero will show. He ran towards the door till he stopped as it seemed he had another flashback. He looked dejected as he turned and spoke to me. Izuku, YN, could you take me home, please? I nodded and gently wrapped my tail around his waist while I made my way to the edge of the roof. I made sure he was ready before I climbed down the building. As I made it to the ground, I had a moment to think. The joy and hope in Izuku's eyes are gone, but maybe I can fix that. When he has the most joy in his eyes are when he takes notes on heroes and villains. That explosion was likely the work of a villain or a careless hero. Instead of going directly to our home, I turned in the direction of the explosion. It seems Izuku didn't notice as he was looking through his notebook. I'm not disobeying his order on going home. I'm merely taking a different route. Damn. And with that in mind, I quickened my pace with the hope of a hopefully ongoing battle. We arrived at the scene of the fight, and I've got to say, the heroes seem like cowards. But I'm here to make Izuku feel better, not to judge the battle. I placed him down, which confused him until he looked up ahead. Izuku, why? I thought we were going home. I only hissed and nudged his notebook. Izuku, oh, did you bring me here to cheer me up? I nodded and nudged him forward. He had a small smile on his face, but it disappeared when he looked forward. Following his gaze, I saw the exploding human being suffocated by the villain whose eye I took. These heroes still haven't defeated the villain? It took quite a while to get here, and yet they're just standing there. I can feel their fear along with the exploding humans. Idiot, stop, stop! I pulled from my thoughts by someone shouting. When I looked up, I was terrified. There, my king was running into the battlefield while everyone else watched. That's brave, because the way I would be not there. My king, if he gets hit by one of those explosions, he will perish. I charged in after Izuku, tending to get him out of the battlefield. This villain sent several explosions at Izuku, but surprisingly none of them landed. However, one was about to hit him, but I got in time to pull him out of the way. Thanks, YN. Hey, YN? I didn't give him time to finish speaking as I lifted him up and began to run back out of the combat zone. YN, stop! We have to save Kachan. Even when he belittled you for almost your entire life, you're willing to still save him? You'll make a great hero. At least better than those cowards over there. Well, I'll do as you command. Let's save Kachan. I swiftly turned around and began to charge back into the fire. I dodged the explosions coming our way as Izuku began to analyze the enemy. The human won't survive much longer if he doesn't breathe. Izuku seemed to get an idea as he told me to get closer to him to execute his attack. I dodged between the explosions, getting closer and closer until Izuku threw his notebook back into his eye. He could have just told me to stab his other eye out. There was no need for him to dirty his backpack with the villain's filth. Izuku, Kachan! Izuku hopped off my back and began to desperately pull at the villain's body to free the human. Katsuki, why are you here? Izuku, you look like you were asking for help. The villain's eye came back as he glared at Izuku, but showed slight fear towards me. Sludge villain, don't get in my way. As he brought down his hand, I quickly covered Izuku with my body. This explosion will probably kill me, but it's my job to protect Izuku at all cost, even at the cost of my life. But I didn't even feel the pain of the explosion, only the heat it produced. When I looked behind me, I saw the reason why. All Might protected us. All Might, I really am pathetic. Izuku, All Might. All Might, even though I demolished you, I wasn't putting what I said into practice. He grabbed the trapped human as blood came out of his mouth. All Might, pros are always risking their lives. The villain lifted his hand, ready to attack another explosion. Such villain. All Might. Destroy, smash! He pulled the human as he launched his fist, successfully defeating the villain while saving the human. The amount of force generated made a huge wind pressure, causing clouds to form. This human possesses great power, but now he's weakened greatly. As rain began to fall, he raised his fist as people began to cheer. He looked about ready to fall, but remained standing tall. He seems like a true hero. He earned my respect as a warrior. Izuku told me to wait right here as the heroes wished to speak with him. But when I looked at them, they were telling him how idiotic his decision was. Death Arms, geez, there's a limit to how rash you can be. There was absolutely no reason to put yourself in danger. How dare they speak to him like that? From what I saw, they were nothing but cowards. If a child with no powers can run into danger without thinking of himself while they just sat there, what does that make them? I believe it would be better if my king didn't become a hero. Perhaps a villain would be better. No, his dream is to become a hero, and I'll help him achieve that. Having enough of them speaking to Izuku, I got up and made my way over to them. Izuku POV. While I was getting lectured, I heard a hiss behind me. I already knew it was YN, but what was he doing? He got in between me and the pro heroes and screamed at them. Even though Death Arms is still an inch taller than YN, I could see he was slightly intimidated. Death Arms. Kid, is this your pet? Izuku. Yes. Kamen Woods. Why isn't it on a leash? Izuku. That's because Death Arms. What is it even? Not taking them interrupting me too well. YN spat acid at their feet, causing them to back up. Before anything else could happen, YN's tail wrapped around me as he began to walk away. Slay! YN POV. We were heading home as I was walking next to Izuku as he rubbed my head once in a while. Everything was calm and quiet until the explosion human ran up to us. Katsuki Deku. Fearing the worst, I stood tall and got in front of Izuku, but he just held my arm and moved to my side. Izuku Kachan? Katsuki, I never asked you guys for help, and you didn't need to help me. Got it? I was fine by myself. Your quickless failure playing without a full deck. I'm sorry. Don't think you can look down on me. Are you trying to make me owe you? Don't look down on me, you damn nerd. He began to walk away as I tilted my head in confusion at Izuku. Izuku, that's probably his way of saying thanks. Oh, he said thank you? I guess I better acknowledge his thanks. I got on all fours and ran at the exploding human. I'm gonna give him as my thanks. That's fucking hilarious. Izuku yelled for me to come back, but I kept running. He turned around, and when he saw me prepared for a fight as he launched an explosion at me. I merely dodged and hugged him as he yelled for me to let go and put him down. Katsuki, let go of me, you damn overgrown. What even are you? I'm your mutual friend / enemy. I purred, sending vibrations through his entire body as he slightly vibrated. Once he calmed down, I pressed my forehead to his before putting him down and running back to Izuku. As I was running, I heard him say, Katsuki, damn overgrown cat. Once I got back, Izuku was waiting patiently, but I could see a small emotion in his eyes. They looked like sadness? Why is he sad? Did something happen while I was gone? Just as quickly as it came, it was gone, as it was replaced by hope and joy. Izuku, come on, YN. I've got to come up with a more realistic goal. I nodded and began to follow him, but not a second later, All Might arrived. All Might, I am here. Izuku, All Might, why are you here? You were surrounded by reporters just until now. All Might, getting away from them was a piece of cake. Why? Because I am He transformed into a bony man as blood came out of his mouth. Izuku screamed as I just sat there. All Might, young man, I come with thanks, a correction, and a suggestion. If you hadn't told me about your life, I would have turned into a guy in a bodysuit who was all talk. Thank you. Izuku, that can't be. It was all my fault in the first place. I got in the way of your work, and I said all those impertinent things, even though I'm clerkless. All Might, that's right. It was because none other than the timid, quirkless you at the scene I was able to act. Top heroes have stories about them from their school days. Most of their stories have one thing in common. Their bodies moved before they had a chance to think. Izuku began to slightly tear up as I wrapped him up in my tail to comfort him. All Might, that was true for you too, wasn't it? He held onto my tail as he answered. Izuku, yeah. He fell to his knees as I sat down and hugged him. All Might, you can become a hero. At this point, he was bawling his eyes out as I rocked him back and forth, slightly purring to try and calm him down. Well, Izuku, it looks like you'll You'll become the hero you always wanted to be, and I'll be by your side through the entire journey. Chapter 5. Roaring Muscles. Izuku POV. The number one hero. All Might. Age unknown. Quirk unidentified. He dashed into the scene of the hero world and received unwavering popularity based on his ability. Ever since he appeared, the one critically high rate of crimes committed by villains decreased year after year, and his existence itself became a deterrent. He became the symbol of peace in both name and reality. And that man said to me, All Might, you can become a hero. I need someone to tell me that. And then the person I admired the most in the world did. Honestly, part of me thought I'd never hear those words, much less from him. All Might, I deem you worthy of my power. My quirk is yours to inherit. Izuku, huh? Why POV? Izuku, inherit your power. All Might. What's with that face? It's just a suggestion. The world show starts after this. While we were talking, I unwrapped my tail from around Izuku and used my hand to gently wipe his tears and snot. All Might, listen, young man. You need to decide whether or not to accept my power. Some blood came out of his mouth when he yelled that. I used my tail to wipe the blood away from his mouth so he can speak. All Might, thank you, YN. Here, you can have this. He pulled out a snack from his back pocket and tossed it to me, which I swiftly caught and ate. All Might, nice catch. Anyway, I'm talking about my power, young man. The tabloids called it superhuman strength and a boost, and I constantly dodged the question during interviews with a funny joke, because the symbol of peace, All Might, had to be a natural-born hero. But young man, I will tell you the truth. He raised his hand in the air for a dramatic effect. All Might, my quirk was passed on to me like a sacred torch. A sacred torch? If I'm not mistaken, a fire can be extinguished. Izuku, it was passed on to... All Might, that's right. And next, it is your turn. Izuku, wait a minute. It's true that your quirk is something hotly debated as one of the world's greatest mysteries. So much so that not a day goes by when I don't see someone talking about it online. But, well, I don't really understand what you mean by inheriting or passing on a quirk. I recognize this as the start of when he mumbles to himself, so I softly poked him with my tail. The small amount of pain wasn't enough to make him bleed, just enough to make him to get him to stop. Izuku, oh, thanks, YN. I purred as he rubbed my head. All Might, you can always start with denial, huh? Nonsense. Izuku, huh? All Might, I may hide a lot of things, but I don't lie. The power to transfer power. That is the quirk I inherited. I was crowned with one for all. Liar, you're not royalty. I don't see any crown. Izuku, one for all. Oh my, that's right. One person cultivates the power and passes it on to another person, who also cultivates it and passes it on. It is the crystallization of power that spins together the voices of those who need help with a courageous heart. But if the current holder of this power dies before they pass it on, what happens to the power? Izuku, why are you giving me something so great? Don't question it, my king. This is probably the only chance you'll get to have of overwhelming power. All Might, I have been looking for a successor, and then I thought it would be all right for you to inherit. You are just a quirkless hero fanboy with a strange pet, but you were more heroic than anyone else back there. Izuku started to tear up again, so I hugged his waist and purred to try to comfort him. All Might, never mind. Well, it's up to you, though. What'll you do? Izuku clenched his fist before he rubbed the tears out of his eyes. He tapped my arm, signaling me to let go. As I did, we stood up. When I looked into his eyes, I saw hope, but also great determination. Izuku, I'll do it. All Might, an immediate reply. That's what I thought you'd say. If he's going to receive this great power, how is he going to control it? We were both walking home, and somehow the sun was already going down. Izuku wanted to talk as he was full of energy, so I walked behind him. Izuku, can you believe it, YN? I'm going to finally become a hero. I excitedly hissed and nudged his arm with my head. He rubbed my head as I followed him to the entrance of an alleyway. Normally, we don't go through alleyways, but Izuku was feeling very confident. Come on, YN. This way will be quicker. I hissed in acknowledgement as I followed beside him. I wonder what my human will become when he gains this power. If it's like that human said, he could become very powerful, if not unstoppable. Alright, drop whatever valuable stuff you got, kid. I was pulled from my thoughts by someone speaking. I looked to see a human with a gun in his right hand. My king seemed to lose all his confidence as he grabbed my arm for, I guess, comfort. He seemed to be annoyed or at a lack of response as he aimed his weapon at Izuku. You need me to say it again? Drop everything you got. Don't make this harder than it has to be. Izuku began to take off his backpack, but before he could give it to the human, I used my tail to push it back into his hands. He looked at me with confusion and concern as I got in front of him. Izuku, wait, what are you doing? I only let out a low growl to the human as it slightly backed away before raising its weapon once more. So its name is YN, huh? Well, kid, watch YN die before your pathetic eyes. Izuku, no! The shot rang out as Izuku tried to pull me away from the human, but he stopped when he noticed I was okay. What the hell? The idiotic began to shoot me repeatedly, but the bullets couldn't penetrate my armored skin. I gently pushed Izuku back as I pounced on the poor excuse of a human. Get it off! Call off your damn pet, brat! But he didn't. Izuku didn't say anything as I jammed my left hand blade deep into its left shoulder. It screamed as it tried to punch me off, but I remained unfazed. You may be a poor excuse of a human, but I admire your desperation to cling onto your pathetic life, knowing you'll die regardless. I'll make your death quick, but slightly painful. I stabbed my other bladed hand into his right shoulder to hold him down. He began to squirm, and it disgusted me tremendously. I opened my mouth, revealing my several sharp teeth and my tongue. No, please let me go. I'm sorry. Get your damn devil off of me, and I'll give you my loot. It's in the trash to my left. Just get this thing off. This miserable creature's final mistake. It spoke to my king. It sullied my king's ears with its disgusting pleas of mercy. I launched my tongue into its head, killing it, while taking a piece of its brain into my mouth. Something strange happened when I swallowed it. It felt as if my brain grew as several memories flashed before my eyes. Izuku? YN? I turned to my king as I removed my blade hands from the corpse. I hugged him as I purred, vibrating his entire body. Izuku. I'm glad you're safe, Izuku. Izuku. What? Is that you speaking, YN? You can hear me? Izuku, yeah, I can, but how's your mouth not moving? Did eating that piece of that human's brain enhance my mind? Normally, I'm only able to telepathically communicate with my family, not other creatures. It seems my body uses DNA from the brain to enhance my brain. Not only am I able to speak to Izuku, but I also have that human's memories and knowledge. I don't know how, but I'm glad I can speak to you now. Izuku, yeah, me too, but let's go home now. He kept glancing at the body while he was speaking to me. I guess I'll never get used to the dead bodies of his enemies. Might as well get rid of the evidence before someone else sees. I spewed acid all over the carcass as I watched it melt away. Izuku turned away as to not witness the skin and bones of the body melting away. While the body was being dissolved, I went over to the trash can he hid his loot in. I pushed the lid off to reveal a bag with a lot of things humans consider valuable. I was about to take it when Izuku stopped me. Well, Izuku, YN, you can't take that when it's not yours. Let's just give an anonymous tip to the police from a payphone. YN, it's not like I would use it. I have no need for it. Let's get you home, Izuku. We'll make the call on the way. I wrapped my tail around Izuku's waist and placed him on my back as I began to walk us home. He wrapped his arms around me as he fell asleep. This was an eventful day for you, Izuku. Not only did you fight a villain, you also met your idol. You're gonna get a quirk. Your life was threatened. And now your pet can speak in your mind. Your life will only get more interesting from here, my king. Time skip. Third POV. 2 days passed and YN, Izuku, and All Might were at the Daboga Municipal Beach Park. It was covered in so much discarded trash that you couldn't see the water or the sun. This will be where Izuku trains to become the hero he has always wanted to be. Currently, he's attempting to pull a refrigerator while YN and All Might sat on top. YN was sitting next to All Might while telepathically telling Izuku encouraging words. Wine POV. Wine. Great job, Izuku. I think you moved it a centimeter. You're gonna be stronger than All Might. All Might, hey, this is such a comfy fridge to sit on. Izuku lost his balance and was about to face plant into the sand if it wasn't for my tail wrapping around his waist. I let him go as he fell on his knees instead. All Might, if you could move it even a little, it would be a little easier. Izuku, well, yeah. I mean, you weigh 274 kilograms, right? And Ryan grew yesterday, so he's about 181 kilograms now. All Might, no, I lost weight. I'm only 255 kilograms now in this form. Izuku, anyway, why am I dragging trash at the beach park? He just laughed as he pulled out his phone. All Might, it's 'cause, you're not a proper vessel. He took photos of Izuku before putting his arms around me and took a picture of us. He showed me the picture and we looked great. Izuku, what you're saying is the opposite of what you said before. While Izuku was screaming, All Might hopped off the fridge before walking over to him, still taking pictures. All Might, I'm talking about your body. My quirk, one for all, is the fullest physical ability of many people gathered into one. An unprepared body cannot inherit it fully. The limbs will come off and the body will explode. Izuku, the limbs will what? Ryan, you'll be fine, Izuku. Look on the bright side. If you explode, that will be an interesting way to die. Izuku, that just makes me feel worse. All Might, who are you talking to? Izuku, oh, Ryan is able to speak to me telepathically now. All Might turned to me before giving me a thumbs up. All Might, you get more awesome each time I meet you. Young man, what is your pet species? Izuku, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out myself. Anyways, I'm picking up trash to train my body? All Might, yes, but that's not all. He began to walk over back to the refrigerator, and as I looked around, All Might, after some research on the internet yesterday, I discovered this part of the beach's park coast has been like this for years. Izuku, yeah. For some reason, because of the currents, objects drift here a lot, and people take advantage of that to hide their illegal dumping. The locals' residents don't come here either. I could probably clear all these obstacles in a few minutes with my acid. All Might, heroes these days are all after the showy stuff. He began to crush the refrigerator as he spoke to Izuku. All Might, originally, being a hero meant doing volunteer service, even if people call that boring or whatever. You can't waver from those roots. The fridge began to break under his strength until it flattened. His strength even cleared the trash behind him, allowing the sun and water to be seen. All Might, we will restore the horizon to this whole section. That is your first step to becoming a hero. Izuku looked shocked by what he said as he turned back to the huge piles of trash behind him. You have a tremendous task before you, my king, but I'll help you. All Might, young Midoriya, you want to go to UA, right? Izuku, yes. It's because that's where you went. So if I'm going to go, I thought it would definitely have to be UA. All Might, you're a go-getter fanboy. But I've told you this before. It's not something you can do without a quirk. It's sad, but that's what the reality is. And UA is the hardest hero course to get into. In other words, Izuku, in the 10 months until UA's entrance exam, I have to complete my vessel. All Might, that's where this comes in. I came up with this. Aim to pass. American Dream Plan. It's a training plan to help you finish cleaning up the beach. I'll have you follow this in every aspect of your life. He handed it over to Izuku as I looked over his shoulder to see. Izuku, even sleep time is included. All Might, frankly, this is a super hard schedule. Can you follow it? He looked at the paper with fierce determination as he gave his answer. Izuku, of course. I have to work many times harder than anyone else, or else I can't do it. All Might, that's the spirit. And before I forget, Ryan can't help you. Ryan, what? All Might held his head in pain as he frantically looked around. All Might, what was that? Izuku, are you feeling alright? I didn't hear anything. Ryan, hey, it was me, the 7-foot-tall creature standing right next to you. All Might looked at me in shock, not expecting me to speak with him. All Might, I thought you would only speak to young Midoriya. Ryan, I did, but I guess not. Anyways, What do you mean I can't assist him with this challenge? All Might, he needs to do this on his own. He can't become a proper vessel for power if you help. For this power if you help. I guess I can't assist my king on this. I'll just have to support him in a different way. Izuku, it's alright, YN. Why don't you hang out with All Might while I train? YN, as you wish. I'll cheer you on. I walked over to a pile of trash before I began to take random things out of it. Izuku POV. I watched as YN walked over to a pile of trash and began to play with the trash. It brought a small smile to my face seeing him play. Izuku, All Might, I have a favor to ask of you. All Might, what's the favor? Izuku, can YN come with me to UA? All Might, but why? I don't even know if pets aren't allowed in the school. Izuku, well, he likes to watch over me wherever I go. He even stayed on a nearby tree outside my classroom window to make sure I was alright. He put on a thinking face as he contemplated on what I just said. Like, think about it. If there's a will, there is a way. If he wants to see you, you bet your ass he'll figure out a way to do it. No, even if they say no, he's gonna figure out a way, guys. He gonna figure out a way, period. He gonna figure out a way. Ryan's gonna figure out a way. Anyways. He put on a thinking face as he contemplated on what I just said. Izuku, if he's not near me, he'll break into the school doing a lot of property damage trying to find me. All Might, well, I guess he can come with you. I'll get the confirmation on this possibly tomorrow. If he's allowed, just make sure he's well trained and on a leash. I was ecstatic. Ryan will get to come with me. Izuku, thank you, All Might. All Might, yes. Now begin your training. And so began my 10 months of hell. YN, POV. All Might, carry that to the park entrance. Put it in the truck. I watched as Izuku moved various objects to a nearby truck. He picked up a tire as he began to run back to the truck. All Might, run! 10 months will be over before you know it. He fell, so I went over to check on him. He gave me a smile before he got back up and continued to run. All Might, let's become athletic. I was hanging on the ceiling in Izuku's class undetected as he began to learn what the teacher was saying. It seems ever since I ate that piece of human brain, I'm able to learn and retain knowledge better now. Teacher, let's see. With the appearance of superpowers, the Building Standard Act was revised. Never mind, this is boring. I can see now why Zuko isn't paying attention. He seems to be doing alright physically so far, but he seems to be getting mentally fatigued. Izuku, about 98 days of real training, even if I'm efficient. I still have to train YN to behave in public if I want him with me. I can get about 5 hours of training morning and night, so that's 490 hours. He began to mutter, and everyone turned to him as the teacher began to extend his hand. I hissed and growled louder and louder as his hand got closer to Izuku. My growling seemed to have induced fear in the other humans as they frantically tried to signal their teacher to stop. He just looked at them confused as he was about to hit Izuku. Hit? Oh no, this is ridiculous. Teacher Midori. Before he could hit my king, I jabbed my tail through his hand, spraying blood on the ground. He screamed in pain. His pain screaming brought Izuku out of his muttering state. I yanked my tail, sending the teacher over his desk and onto the ground as I dropped down. Everyone looked on in fear, even the explosion human. As I opened my mouth above the teacher's head, Izuku, why no? I stopped and looked up at Izuku before closing my mouth. Izuku, it's fine. I'm okay. Come here. Before I released the human, I mentally spoke to him. My king has enough to deal with, and he doesn't need a worm like you adding to it. Understand? I saw the human nod as I released my tail from his hand as I sat next to Izuku. The teacher held to his hand as he left the room. As he left, I heard Izuku mutter to himself. Izuku, I gotta train him out to do that. Maybe a word that tells him when it's okay to attack. When? That will work. Izuku, alright. How about... I'll think of something later. The teacher came back with a bandage on his hand and fear on his face. He continued to teach the class as Izuku rubbed my head while taking notes. I can't imagine. No. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. That's a little too funny to me. Anyways, Izuku was running as I jogged next to him while All Might was riding a scooter. Izuku was carrying something heavy and looked just about ready to drop. And I was right as I caught him in the object before either fell. Oh my, hey, what's wrong? There are only 3 months left. You won't make it. Want to give up? Want to take it easy and rest today? Izuku began to try and crawl out of my grip, but he was too weak. Oh my. The aim to pass American Dream Plan was adjusted with your body and mind to make sure you'd make it in time for the entrance exam. You haven't been sticking to the plan, have you? Overdoing it will have the opposite effect. Don't you want to get in? Izuku, I do, but I just can't get in. I have to work a lot more than other people, or I won't be able to catch up. He began to slowly lift himself out of my grip, holding on to my shoulder. Izuku, I want to be like you. I want to be the greatest hero like you. Omar transformed into his buff form as he lifted Izuku up by his shirt. I slightly hissed, but stopped when Izuku muttered no to me. Omar, you better go. You're a go-getter, fanboy. I like that. But if that's the case, then you really can't rush things now. But I understand your feelings. Leave it to this old guy to adjust your plan. Izuku, you're not old, All Might. All Might's laugh rang out as I tried to mimic a human laugh. It's gonna be like, that's all I can imagine. I'm sorry. I'm doing too much. February 26th, 6 a.m. was when my king accomplished his first great achievement of many more to come. On my arrived, I pressed the mic. Sorry, guys. On my arrived the moment I finished helping Izuku onto the top of the pile of trash, he moved. He screamed in victory as I screamed along with him in celebration. He began to tip as I caught him before jumping down next to All Might. All Might, good work. All Might. Izuku, All Might, I did it. All Might, yeah, you surprised me. You entertainer. Teenagers are amazing. Here, take a look. He took out his phone and showed Izuku a picture as I put him down. Izuku, yeah, and you and Ryan look great. All Might, what? Oh, sorry, wrong one. Ah, here it is. Izuku, this is... All Might, it's you, 10 months ago. You did good. You really did. The mirage of it is finally just barely visible. But you have certainly become a suitable vessel. Izuku, I feel like I'm cheating. You did this for me. This is all for me. I'm too blessed. No, to me, you're not blessed enough. All Might, we have to fix those leaky eyes of yours. Now it's time for the award ceremony, Izuku Midoriya. Izuku, yes, sir. He pulled out a strand of his hair and took out a snack bar before tossing it to me and speaking. All Might, this is something I was once told. Something that you receive because you're lucky, and something that you are given because you are recognized are different in essence. Take that to heart. This is power you earned because of your own effort. Izuku looked at him with a tear in his eyes, but with determination, while I ate half the snack. This was his great moment, the moment he gains great power. All Might, eat this. Izuku, huh? All Might, it doesn't really matter what it is as long as you take in my DNA. Izuku, it's too different from what I imagined. All Might, now there's no time. You'll be late for your exam. Come. Before he could force feed Izuku, I hissed to get their attention. All Might, what is it, Ryan? I tossed him my half-eaten snack as he looked at me confused. Ryan, stuff the hair in so that he can eat it without spewing his acid. He understood as he placed the hair in the snack before forcing it down Izuku's throat. As he was eating the food, All Might pulled out a letter and a leash before handing it to Izuku. All Might, hurry and eat the snack or you'll be late. Also, here, take this letter and leash. If any teacher stops you to question you why Ryan is with you, just show them this. He nodded before swallowing the snack and hair gagging slightly. Izuku, all right, Ryan, let's go. I hissed and wrapped my tail around him before running towards UA. Time skip. We were outside the entrance to UA as Izuku held the leash attached to my collar. Izuku, we made it. We began to walk in with some humans looking at me weirdly. I wonder how Izuku will do in this exam. Or at least I'm allowed with him. Katsuki, out of my way, Deku. Izuku, Kachan? Katsuki, don't stand in front of me, I'll kill you. Izuku, morning. Izuku tried to apologize, but I interrupted him. The second he finished saying, kill you, I immediately stood up and screamed in his face. He backed up, and a small amount of fear was in his eyes as he looked up at me. I pointed my tail and raised one of my blade hands at him. bro, this is not gonna work. Izuku, why no? I lowered my talon hand as I sat down next to Izuku, still looking at Kachan. Katsuki, whatever. Your sorry is nothing to me, Deku. With that, he walked past us toward the building as I kept watching him. Izuku let out a sigh of relief before speaking with me. Izuku, please, Wyan, don't pick a fight with Kachan. Wyan, I wasn't picking a fight. He threatened your life, and I was protecting you. Izuku, well, it's not like he'll actually try to kill me, I hope. Anyway, let's go. As he took a few steps forward, he tripped, so I quickly wrapped my tail around him. But it seemed he wouldn't have hit the ground as another human touched him, causing him to float. Are you alright? She touched him again and he stopped floating as I wrapped my tail from his waist. I knew your pet would have caught you, but I just wanted to make sure. Also, sorry for using my quirk on you without asking first, but it'd be bad luck if you fell, right? For some reason, my king wasn't answering. Instead, just staring at her. Aren't you nervous? Izuku, let's do our best. I really like your pet. Here, they can have this. See ya. She tossed me a cookie, which I swiftly caught and ate as she left. My king looked into space with a blush on his face and sparkles in his eyes. I have no idea what you did to my king, but I'm glad you did whatever it is you did. Other humans began to stop and stare at Izuku, so to make them leave, I spewed acid near them. It worked perfectly, as they began to all run toward the building. As I carried Izuku in, as he was still dreaming. Oh, I can't control this. I sat in the seat next to I sat in the seat while Izuku sat in my lap, while the loud human hero, whatever the fuck, began to scream. I know his name as Izuku wrote about him and listened to him on the radio. President Mick, for all you examinee listeners tuning in, welcome to my show today. Everybody say hey. I didn't want this human to feel bad, and because Izuku likes him, I responded. Wyan. President Mick, I like that enthusiasm, strange creature. I'll quickly present to you the rundown on the practical exam. Are you ready? Yeah. Wyan. Izuku, it's the voice hero. President Mick, wow. I listen to him every week on the radio. I'm so moved. All the teachers of the UA are pro-heroes. Katsuki, shut up. I hissed at him before paying attention to Izuku and President Mick. President Mick, as it says in the application requirements, you listeners could be conducting a 10-minute mock urban battles after this. The screen behind him began to move and show colorful pictures. President Mick, you can bring whatever you want with you. After the presentation, you'll head to that specific battle center, okay? Wyan. President Mick, thank you for answering me. Strange creature, as a reward, you can have this. A t-shirt signed by me. He tossed it up to me as I caught it with my tail. Luckily, my tail didn't pierce through the fabric as I handed it over to Izuku. He began to fanboy over it until he was calm enough to take it. Izuku, wow, thanks, Wyan. Katsuki, they won't let you work with your friends, huh? Izuku, you're right. Even though our examinee numbers are consecutive, we're assigned to different battle centers. Katsuki, don't look. He cut himself fast as he saw my tail above him, but where Izuku can't see. Katsuki, damn. Now I can't crush you. Better. I lowered my tail back down before President Mick began to speak. The way he's secretly threatening him. Period. President Mick, 3 different types of fox villains are stationed in each battle center. You earn points for each of them based on their level of difficulty. Your goal, dear listeners, is to use your quirks to earn points by immobilizing the fox villains. Of course, attacking other examinees and any other unheroic actions are prohibited. There goes that plan to kill the competition for Izuku. Damn. May I ask a question? President Mick. Okay. On the printout, there are four types of villains. If that is a misprint, then UA, the most prominent school in Japan, should be ashamed of that foolish mistake. We examinees are here in this place because we wish to be modeled in explanatory heroes. In addition, you over there with the curly hair. Izuku stiffened and pointed to himself as I let out a low growl. I hugged Izuku closer to me in an attempt to calm myself. You've been muttering this whole time. It's distracting. If you're here on a pleasure trip, then you should leave immediately. And why do you bring your pet in here? I hope you clean up after it. That is enough. This human has embarrassed and yelled at my king. I should cut off his tongue for saying Izuku should pick up after me. Izuku, I'm sorry. I cut off Izuku by spewing a small amount of acid at the human's seat. This startled him as he looked at me with slight fear. I telepathically spoke to the human, making sure this doesn't happen again. Why, listen here, worm. I will not sit idly while you insult my king. He traveled down a much harder path to get here than you. I will let this slide, but next time my acid will not miss. Do you understand me, human? If so, sit back down before I cut your tongue off. Damn, goddamn. Whew. The human immediately obeyed and reluctantly sat back down on his now melted seat. Okay, crazy. President Mick. Okay. Examinee number 7,000 fuck me. Oh man, that shocked me too much. Okay. Examinee number 7,111. The fourth type of villain is worth 0 points. That guy's is an obstacle, so to speak. There's one in every battle center, an obstacle that will go crazy in narrow spaces. It's not impossible to defeat, but there's no reason to defeat it either. I recommend that you listeners try to avoid it. Thank you very much. Please excuse the interruption. The group of nearby humans began to talk about that robot before President Mick spoke again. President Mick, that's all from me. Finally, I'll give you, listeners, our school motto. The hero, I can't even say that name, once said, a true hero is someone who overcomes life's misfortunes. Go beyond plus ultra. Now, everyone, good luck suffering. We are all outside a huge gate with Izuku holding onto my leash. He looked up with determination until he slapped his face with both hands as I stood up, ready to assist him in any way. Period. Chapter 6. Start line. Izuku POV. UA. High School's Hero Course. A training school for those whose goal is to acquire the necessary qualifications needed for pro heroes. Among similar courses across the country, theirs is the most popular and most competitive, and their acceptance rate is less than 1 in 300 every year. The hero who refused a national honor award, the number 1 hero, All Might, the hero who resolved the most incidents in history, the fiery hero, Endeavor, the winner of the Best Genius Award 8 years in a row, Best Genius, graduating from UA is a requirement for becoming a great hero. And so, I also tackled the UA entrance exam with YN by my side. I will take the first step toward my dream of becoming a hero. YN POV. As we were outside the gate of the battleground, the humans marveled at the size of the battlefield. I was sitting next to Izuku as a t-shirt the human threw at me was tied around his waist. Random, what is this? It's like a city. They have more than one of these on school grounds. Izuku looked anxious, so in an attempt to calm him down, I grabbed my arms and tail around him and purred. His body and breathing relaxed as the vibration slightly shook him. Izuku, thanks, YM. I'm alright now. I nodded as I wrapped myself from him before sitting right by his feet. Random 2, UA is amazing. It seems that humans weren't nervous about this upcoming trial. At most, they were anxious. My king, on the other hand, seems to be eternally panicking as he observes his competition. I still don't see why he won't let me kill the other contenders. As Izuku was... I'm sorry. I don't know why he won't let me kill them. It's so easy. Just get rid of the competition, guys. It's so easy. Oh my god. It's fucking hilarious. As Izuku was looking around, he noticed the human that saved him from falling. Izuku, oh yeah, I had to thank her for earlier. Come on, YN. You should thank her too for the snack she gave you. Why should I thank her for something that was rightfully mine from the start? Regardless, I followed Izuku as he led us over to the human whose name we still don't know. We weren't able to get far as Izuku stopped. So, I looked up at him only to see a human's dirty hand on his shoulder. Normally, I wouldn't attack humans that touched Izuku, as he ordered me not to, but this was the same human that attempted to embarrass him earlier. I already gave him a warning, so me killing him is justified, right? As I was about to strike, Izuku lightly tugged on my leash, signaling me to stop. That girl appears to be trying to focus. What is your pet doing here? Are you taking the entrance exam to interfere with everyone else? Izuku, no, of course not. The other humans began to direct their unnecessary and unwanted attention to Izuku, slightly annoying me. They began to make comments about him, increasing my annoyance and anger. It seems Izuku couldn't hear them, but I could. Random. That guy's the one who was about to trip in front of the school gates, right? Random 2. The one who winced after being called out? Oh my god, this is so annoying. Random 3. At the very least, we have one less rival to worry about, huh? Everyone. Lucky for us. I would have slaughtered you all if it wasn't for Izuku here to stop me. Maybe I can kill them in this trial and make it look like an accident. No, I can't give the heroes... I can't. The heroes will be watching everyone closely. Congrats, humans. You get to live for now. Out of the corner of my vision, I saw something move at the top of the tower. It turned out to be an extremely loud human that gave me the t-shirt. President Mick, right, let's start. Everyone looked at him confused as I waited for Izuku to lead us somewhere. President Mick, get moving! There are no countdowns in real-life battles. Run, 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 listeners. You're wasting airtime here. Not a second later, everyone except Izuku and I ran into the battle center. I tugged on the leash to make him regain his attention. Izuku, we're already behind! He then began to run as I was to his left, matching his speed. Izuku, crap, hey, wait up. Save some villains for me. He wishes to be the first one into the battlefield? Well, why didn't he say so? I could have got him there ahead of time. I wrapped my tail around his waist as I stood up and began to increase my speed. With the increase in speed, I was able to jump over the center of competitors, officially getting Izuku ahead. I continued to charge into the battlefield, looking for enemies Izuku could defeat. As I was running, I could tell Izuku was still nervous, so I told him some encouraging words. Wyatt, calm yourself. Remember me and All Might are right here with you. He seemed to have gotten a flashback as I remembered what All Might said. Flashback. Wyatt POV. All Might, great, you swallowed it, yes? Izuku, yes, but I don't feel anything's different yet. All Might, well, of course not. Your body has to process the hair first. It should kick in about after 2, maybe 3 hours. Izuku, my stomach is in knots. I still need to shower and eat something before the exam. All Might, you may have molded your body into a proper vessel, but you did it in a hurry, so be cautious. You haven't even taken it for a test drive yet. The physical backlash of One for All can be intense. Izuku, huh? All Might, there's no time to go on the fine details yet, but take note, you've got to prepare yourself before using this quirk. I want you to clench your butt cheeks and yell from the bottom of your heart, so... Flashback end. My flashback was really interrupted by a green machine with a 1 on its head, breaking through a wall in front of us. Midoriya, oh, a 1-pointer. An enemy. Perfect. This should be an easy battle for Izuku. I placed Izuku down before moving to the sidewalk so he could fight it. Damn. He really said, you got this, man. I'm going to support you. From right here. Oh. Robot. Target acquired. Commencing attack. It charged at Izuku as he stood there. He was about to dodge and counterattack at any second now. The robot got closer until he stood just about there. Any second now, Zuku's getting closer. Oh my god. No, bro. I'm sorry. That's too funny. It reared back its arm ready to pummel my king. He wasn't moving and small droplets of tears. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is so painful to read. He wasn't moving and small droplets of tears were in his eyes. Not wanting him to die, I ran forward and pushed the robot away from Izuku, and unintentionally into a path of a laser. Thanks for distracting it. Izuku, a laser! Mercy, we make a good team, but I don't think we'll meet again. The human then began to run away, but not before yelling out, Adalu. What the hell does that mean? Izuku, what did he mean by that? Wyatt, it means that the human just stole your kill, and now we need to find you another one. President Mick, 6 minutes and 2 seconds left. Izuku, oh no. He began to run the way the human went as I followed behind him. Along the way, we passed several destroyed robots scattered all over the place. For some reason, I had a quick flashback of my siblings' mutilated bodies scattering in the halls of the hive. Izuku, come on, Wyatt, I need points fast. I didn't realize I stopped running until Izuku called out for me. I shook my head to get rid of that memory as I quickly caught up with Izuku. We went down another alleyway leading up to an area filled with damaged or destroyed robots. Izuku, her again. I looked to see where he was looking to see the nice human. She ran around touching the fallen robots as they began to float high in the air. Once they were high enough, she put her hands together and said, release. All the robots fell, causing them to be destroyed upon impact with the ground. She was panting as she looked up at the now destroyed robots. She looked back. That's 28 points. Izuku seemed shocked as his mouth fell open. Not wanting a fly to go in his mouth, I closed it with my tail. Not a moment later, the blue-haired man kicked a robot with high speed. 45 points. Izuku, 45? Oh, this is ridiculous, bro. I can't believe this. Oh my god. Various humans began to call out their points as they destroyed more and more robots. Izuku began frantically to look around as a small tears welled in his eyes. I could tell he was scared he would fail. I could practically smell the fear radiating off of him. This isn't good. The number of enemies are dwindling, and Izuku has yet to even kill one. I have to assist him in getting a few points. I began to run down the street with Izuku on my back as we looked for any remaining robots. But suddenly the ground began to shake as a loud explosion rang out, followed by huge columns of smoke. Then, out of a humongous robot with a 0 on its head. That's an intimidating foe, but my acid can melt it down in seconds. Izuku began to shake as the other humans stopped to look at the giant. It reared its fist back before slamming onto the ground, crumbling several buildings as huge gusts of wind were sent towards us. Before the powerful winds could reach us, I covered Izuku with my body. Pieces of debris bounced off my back as I could hear the other humans scream while they ran for cover. The wind stopped as I uncovered Izuku as we scanned the area, only to have the robot looming over us. The humans began to run away, not even attempting to stand against this enemy, and they aspired to be heroes. If they could work together, they could easily destroy this machine. But I guess not everyone has the courage to face potential death. Oh well, time to get Izuku to safety. President Mick, less than 2 minutes left. Izuku, 2 minutes? YN, there's still time left. I'll find you a robot to fight before it's over. He nodded as I went to pick him up, but just as my tail was about to wrap around him, someone spoke. Ow! We looked back to see the female human trapped under some rubble. It's the same human from before. By the looks of it, the robot is about to squash her. I have to get Izuku away from here, as his safety is my main priority, and I need to find another robot. Speaking of which, it's time to go. I looked to my right only to see Izuku not there, and instead running toward the robot. His legs began to glow as he jumped high in the air, but not before yelling an order to me. Izuku, YN, save her. YN, right away. I ran over to the human and lifted the piece of building off of her with my tail. Once she got off from underneath the rubble, I tossed it to the side, accidentally destroying a group of trapped robots. I paid no mind to them as I looked back at Izuku. You're the most bravest human I've ever met, and I'm glad to have found you. You show me the attributes of a hero. All we need to work on is your power. Okay, we got this. We'll see. This is intense. All right. Izuku's right arm began to glow as his sleeve ripped off by the sheer power. He was getting closer and closer to the robot's head before he landed a powerful punch right in the center. As it began to explode, when I looked behind me, all the other humans looked on in shock. Yeah, that's right. When is my king's power, you weak worms? Oh, that's fucking hilarious. I looked back up and only see... Oh, God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, guys. Oh, my God. I looked up to... I really need to stop laughing. I looked back up only to see Izuku's legs broken and most likely his arm too. The robot fell, making the ground shake for a moment. Sorry guys, my mic fell off. That is not funny. Sorry guys. Hopefully y'all can hear me now. Perfect. I'm not sure how the human's limbs are supposed to move or be positioned in. President Mick, 1 minute left. Izuku began to fall as his limbs were just dangled in the air, broken. Ugh. He lifted his left arm, indicating to sacrifice it to save himself. But I jumped up and caught him as I wrapped my arms, legs, and tail around his body. This should be a softer landing for him, as I will be hitting the ground first. As we were falling, I scanned the air for any surviving robots just to see one pointer pinned under pieces of a giant robot. Once we landed, he should have enough time to kill it if I carry him. You may not pass this test, Izuku, but at least you'll get 1 point instead of none. Good for you, man. Just as we were about to hit the ground, I felt a slap on my right arm as it began to float. I looked to my right to see the human we saved floating next to us before she said release. She then began to somehow vomit out a rainbow before lying down. Izuku, if I can just get 1 point. With only a small amount of time left, I ran over to the pinned robot with Izuku hugged close in my arms. I dropped down next to his head as I wrapped Izuku's left fist in my tail before plunging it into the head. Since my tail was wrapped around his fist, it didn't break or hurt on impact with the metal or concrete. Is President Mick, time's up. When? Just in time. See, Izuku, I told you I'd find you a robot before it was over. He wasn't responding, so I looked down only to see him sleeping. Good idea, Izuku. Sleep should help your broken bones and maybe your crushed soul. God damn! God damn! I wrapped myself around him as I kept watch of him as he slept. The humans were talking amongst themselves about how Izuku tried to trick them by acting jumpy and that he was amazing. Did you not see the trapped human that was now currently passed out? Also, how she just vomited a rainbow? Humans just get stranger and stranger. The humans were too close for my liking as they began to crowd around Izuku. I spewed acid in the air, making the humans run to avoid having their bodies painfully disintegrated. Okay, good work. I looked in the direction of the new voice as I see a short old human. I could smell something sweet in her pocket, and I wanted it. She walked over to another human before pulling the object that was giving out that sweet smell. Good work, good work. Here you go. Here are some gummies. Eat some gummies. Random, thanks. Yes, you too. She began to give a few humans some gummies before moving over to us. That Madeleine is the backbone of UA. She was now in front of us, so I hissed at her, slowly rising to my full height, and wrapping myself from Izuku in the process. The other humans looked on in fear for the older woman, as some even looked about ready to fight me. But she merely held her hand out that had gummies as she gave me a small smile. Here you go, try some. I slowly lowered my body as I leaned down towards the sweet snacks. I used my tongue to quickly pick one up, careful not to bite the human as I swallowed it. See, they're delicious, aren't they? Trusting the human, I hissed in acknowledgement of the snack's delicious flavor. She fed me the rest as she rubbed my head, causing me to purr. You're just a giant puppy protecting your owner, or maybe a giant kitten. I'm sure Aizawa will start taking a liking to you if you do ever meet. Who's Aizawa? I'll just ask Izuku later. She seems nice, and she gave me snacks, so I'll trust her. She stopped rubbing my head as I went to lay down with Izuku. Oh dear, you were hurt this much by your own quirk? She then gave him a kiss on the head as everyone began to freak out. Did nobody ever give them a kiss on the head? I remember when my mother used to give me and my siblings a light nudge on the head with hers. It was a small gesture, but it reassured us of her love in all of us. Good times. I miss her. Random. What was that? UA High's licensed school nurse. The youthful heroine. Recovery girl. As the human was introducing her, Izuku's arm and legs began to heal and move back into the places human limbs are supposed to be in. Her quirk is the super activation of healing ability. UA can only go through a reckless exam because of her. can go through with a reckless exam because of her. Recovery girl. Let's finish this quickly. Is anyone else injured? Izuku's spirit is probably broken, but I don't think she can fix that. Well, I guess it's time to bring Izuku home before Inko gets worried. I was walking us home as Izuku was still asleep. It was surprisingly dark, with only a few stars out. I wonder what's for dinner. I hope it's that delicious triangle from that circle in a box. But Inko said I shouldn't eat so much of it because it's something called grease. I can't believe it took me so long to carry Izuku near our neighborhood. I made a left following the scent Izuku's home made, right into an alleyway. Nothing good happens in alleyways, but this is the fastest way home. I'll just run quickly through. With that plan, I slightly tightened my tail around Izuku's waist before running in. So far, so good. No enemies or suspicious movements and smells. Until two humans appeared at the end of the alleyway. They had needly weapons and dark clothes as they began to move in. If you know what's good for you, you'll stop right here. Right there. I stopped, not because they told me to. It was because there was one more behind me. A pincer attack, huh? Izuku is still asleep, so he can't defend himself. I could just climb out of here. Then they'll get to go free. I haven't had a fight in a while, so this could be a nice warm-up. I hissed at them before placing Izuku between a trash can and a recycling bin. They stopped when they heard me hiss as they pulled out flashlights before shining on to me. However, when they did, fear began to radiate from them as they took a step back. One of the human weapons then ignited it on fire as I rose to my full height. What the hell is that? Then they began to quickly to inspect me closely as I figured out a way to kill them quickly but painfully. It's probably worth something to the right buyer. Do you think the boss will give us powerful quirks if we bring him back this thing? Give a quirk? I thought All Might was the only one who could pass on a quirk. So there's a villain that is just as powerful, if not more, than All Might? Maybe if I can eat their brains, I might see who this boss is. Maybe even more information from them. We don't know unless we try, so let's knock it out and bring it to the boss. If I pretend to be knocked out, I could infiltrate their base easily and kill their boss. No, I can't leave Izuku here, so I guess I'll have to kill them. I leaped into the wall of the alleyway. Using it as a launch pad, I jumped off, launching myself into the one with the fire weapon. The other human stood in shock at how quick I moved, giving me some time to headbutt the enemy pinned beneath me. This took the humans out of their shock as one of them yelled, "Bastard! Screw bringing it alive! Kill it!" The human next to me raised his arm to hit me with his weapon, but I merely cut his arm off with my bladed hand. What surprised me was his arm began to quickly regenerate in seconds. I raised my blade once more and cut him horizontally, successfully severing his upper body from his torso. I then noticed his clothes were on fire from where I cut him. I inspected my blade hands to see they were now bright red instead of their usual black. Did I gain that human's quirk? It's an unusual feeling, but I can take control of the heat on my blades. I raised the upper half of the decapitated human with my tail as I proceeded to bite-head him as well. I felt a rush of energy go through my body as previous battle wounds were closed. I quickly flicked my tail, sending the dead body in an open trash can. I can gain my enemy's power by eating a piece of their brain. I feel as if I'm the most powerful creature alive, but there's always a stronger opponent, so I shouldn't get cocky. If only I could give this power to Izuku, he needs it more than I do. How many dead bodies is that? 1, 2... There's no third. Where's the final enemy? I sniffed the air, confirming he was still here and behind me. I just couldn't see him. Die! If you're going to sneak attack, don't yell. It'll give away your position quickly. I swiftly shot my tail through the human's abdomen, skewering him as I turned to face him. He looked at me with a fire in his eyes as he placed his hands on my head. A green light came onto his hand as I felt a searing headache. I quickly cut his arm off before head-biting him, ending his life. As I went to push his lifeless body off my tail, I noticed my entire body was invisible. So he was invisible, but what was the power that he used that caused me pain? I have to get Izuku home. It's already late. Pushing the human off, I went around spewing acid all over the dead bodies. I then went over to where I placed Izuku to see he was still sleeping. I let out a small, almost human chuckle as I picked him up before running home. When I got home, Inko was worried sick, saying she was ready to go out there and look for us herself. It took a while to calm her down, but when it was over, she gave me a hug before asking me to take Izuku to his room. I nodded before walking to Izuku's room as I used my tail to open the door. I carried Izuku into his room, closing the door behind us as I gently laid him on the bed. I removed his torn-up shirt before placing him in a surprisingly pristine t-shirt the loud human gave me. I used my tail to pull and hold the covers back for me to lie down with Izuku safely in my arms. Have a nice dream, Izuku. Tomorrow will hopefully be better. I tucked us in before moving my tail around Izuku as I drifted to sleep. Izuku. I quickly sprung up, ready to defend Izuku from whatever caused him to scream. I scanned the room, not finding any hostile enemy or foreign item in sight. Izuku, who are you? I turned to Izuku, confused as to why he was scared as I asked who I was. Wyan, it's me? Wyan, your fierce guardian and protector that loves you and snacks. Izuku, but Wyan, that's you, but you look so human now. Wyan, I do? He quickly fumbled for his phone, which was on the ground, as he took a picture of me before showing me. Wyan, I do! He was right. My head was no longer elongated or cylindrical. It was more like that of a human's. My mouth was still filled with razor-sharp teeth along with my tongue. I had eyes now, and they were an alluring color. I moved my hand to my head as I felt my soft hair rest. My body was still covered in the strong chilling plates that protects me, but it felt softer and warm. I no longer had a blade for hands. I now had hands and fingers along with sharp nails. I'm human now, at least to some extent. My nails seem to be as strong as my bladed hands. My skin got softer, but I believe it's just as durable as before. It's strange, but I think I could get used to this. Ryan, how did you turn Izuku, how did you turn human? Should I tell him what I did and what happened? I looked into his eyes and I could feel a childlike curiosity swirling around his green eyes. I can't lie to him. I'm supposed to never lie, but at least that's what Inko said. I wonder if I can speak now, instead of telepathically communicating. When I immediately regretted that as I felt my cough. Excuse me, my English. I immediately regretted that as my throat felt like it was burning as I had a coughing fit. Izuku, whoa, Ryan, I didn't think you could speak. Are you okay? He began to pat and rub my head to try and soothe my pain. Him rubbing my back made me purr as his whole body began to vibrate. Seeing if I'd be in pain, as if I tried to speak, I just spoke telepathically. When I'm alright, Izuku. To answer your question on how I got like this, I have no idea, but I think it could be because I consumed a large amount of human DNA. By the shocked look on Izuku's face, I could tell he knew exactly what I meant by consuming human DNA. Izuku, what? When? I told you before you can't kill people, but not just that you also ate them. When I didn't initiate combat at first, they caught us in a pincer attack on our way home. So it is what you call self-defense. Besides, it's not like they'll need their brains in hell. He just sighed before looking back in my eyes with a hint of disappointment. This made me slightly sad, but his disappointment in me is justified. Izuku, still, you shouldn't kill people. Wyan, everyone deserves a second chance. The whole point of my birth was to kill. That's the only reason my mother needed a Ravenger. If she wanted enemies to survive, she would have just used any other of my siblings. And when he says everyone, does that include the Yautja and that exploding human? Izuku, just promise you'll stop killing people, please? I could never hold that promise. To distract him, I gave him a hug. At first he was surprised, but he slowly wrapped his arms around me, returning the embrace. So that's how it feels to hug as a human. I don't see why you don't do it more often. It feels nice. Izuku, well, you can't really hug random strangers on the street. It'll be awkward. Also, your skin feels really warm and soothing. I looked down at him only to see his eyes slowly closing, about to sleep once more. Don't return to your slumber, my king. You still need to tell Inko of my change in appearance. I got off as I made my way to the door until I heard a high-pitched scream. I turned back to Izuku only for him to turn away and cover his eyes. Izuku, you're naked! But I'm always naked? Yeah, but now you're human. You have just go through my clothes and find a shirt and some pants to wear. I just nodded, complying with his order as I found some clothes to wear. The shirt couldn't really fit me, so I just left it as I wore the slightly tight pants. Alright, let's go. Izuku took my appearance before leading us downstairs, muttering, Izuku, it's better than nothing. We made it down into the kitchen as Inko turned to greet us. Inko, hello, boys. She cut herself off as she just stared at me as I stared back as well, until she screamed as Izuku tried to calm her down while I devoured the food she placed in my bowl. Third POV. 1 week later. 1 week has passed as the Midoriyas are having a dinner while Wayan was on the floor tearing apart the fish Inko gave him. He was also wearing some pants Inko brought him that fit nicely. Izuku, however, wasn't eating as he looked at the fish with dead eyes that matched that of his meal. Wayan POV. Inko? Izuku? Wayan. My loud hiss snapped him out of his staring contest with the fish as he looked up at his mother. Inko, hey, are you alright? Why are you smiling at the fish? Izuku, oh, sorry, I'm fine. As he began to eat, Inko still looked at him worried while I used my tail to take his uneaten fish. Not long after we finished our dinner, as I helped Inko with the dishes. My king has been spacing out a lot lately. I think he's still destroyed by his performance on the test. Hopefully the results aren't too bad that he completely shuts down. In the other room, I could hear Inko and Izuku speaking with each other. Inko, the results should arrive today or tomorrow, right? Izuku, yeah. Inko, geez, I think it's amazing you even applied to UA. Izuku, yeah. His answer sounded dead and empty of all hope and enthusiasm. I finished washing the dishes as I was going to sit next to Izuku until he wanted to go somewhere else. I still haven't told him about the memories I gained from those 3 humans. I wonder if he knows anybody that wears a suit and can give quirks. YN. Izuku, do you know anyone who... As I was about to ask him my question, Inko came back in the room, stuttering all over her words. Inko, Izuku! Izuku stared at it before he took the envelope to his room and me along with him before closing the door. I could hear Inko pacing outside as Izuku just stared at the envelope. He then grabbed it before trying to pull it apart. YN, that's not how you open envelopes, my king. Allow me to assist you. I made a small cut on the letter which caused it to tear and release a small disc, a chip, in a bag that smelled sweet. As I got close to expect it, I jumped back along with Izuku as All Might appeared and screamed at us. All Might, I am here as a projection. All Might. Izuku, All Might? Wait, this is from UA, right? What? When? That's what it says on the envelope. All Might, I had to do some paperwork that took some time, so I couldn't contact you. He coughed into his fist before bowing. All Might, I'm sorry. Actually, I came to this town to work at UA. Izuku, All Might is working at UA? A hand appeared and began to move funnily. All Might, what is it? Wrap it up? But there's something I must talk to them about. It's going to push everything else back? All right, okay. Even if you passed the written exam, you got 1 point on the practical exam, which wasn't almost counted, as it was YN who destroyed it with you. Of course, that means you didn't pass. Izuku looked down and was about ready to cry, so I wrapped my arms around him from behind as I gently pushed his head back up. All Might, if that was all there was to it, I'm an entertainer as well. First, take a look at this video. Excuse me, Izuku, the nice person? All Might, she came to negotiate directly in person after the exam. Negotiate what? Keep watching to find out, especially you, YN. What she says may surprise you. The person with curly hair and freckles, do you know who I'm talking about? Kind of plain looking. I'll have you know my king is much cuter than you, at least to me. Oh, he has that really cool looking pet, you know? President Mick, yeah, I know. I threw one of my merchandise at him as a gift for answering me. Is it possible for me to give him some of my points? Them, but I wasn't even participating in the combat to be a hero. I heard him say, if I can just get 1 point, right before his pen ran over to a trapped 1-pointer while carrying him. So I thought maybe he was still at 0 points. At least the points he lost because of me. They saved me. Please. Oh my, in addition to not having a quirk, your actions spurred others to act. The entrance exam the other day was not only graded on villain points. President Mick, even if you ask to, you cannot give them your points. Anyway, there's no reason to give them away, female listener. All Might, how can a hero reject people who saves others and do the right thing? Call that lip service? Bring it on. This is a job that requires risking one's lives to put that lip service into practice. Rescue points. And they're given by a panel of judges. It's the other basic ability we have at UA. Look at Izuku Midoriya and YN. 66 points. Wait, I'm with Izuku? All Might, you both pass. Izuku started to shake as small tears appeared in his eyes. Izuku, this is too crazy. Maybe just accept this gift, whatever god you believe in is giving. All Might, come YN. Young Midoriya? Izuku looked about ready to burst and flood the entire room with his tears. All Might, this is your Hero Academia. Izuku, yes sir. As he began to rub his tears away, All Might spoke once more, but this time it was directed to me. All Might, YN, you may be wondering why you're scored alongside young Midoriya, right? Well, the principal will like to personally enroll you into UA. He saw that you have great intelligence and that you and young Midoriya work together perfectly. The chip is meant to go on your collar, and the bag of snacks are a present from the hero you met yesterday, Recovery Girl. After I've the sup, so take care of young Midoriya, YN. And with that, the video ended as Izuku bawled his eyes out in pure happiness. As I began to munch on the snacks, I couldn't help but wonder how this new chapter in my life will go. This was a whole roller coaster, guys. A whole roller coaster. Sorry if it sounds a little weird. I had to read without my mic because my phone was low and I forgot to charge it. I'm sorry, guys. So hopefully this is okay. Anyways, guys. Wow. Intense moments, am I right? A lot of emotions going through, right? wow, just wow. That's amazing. Honestly, I love that. So first of all, our appearance has definitely changed, but we're still the same, which is amazing. I love that. We don't look like a pee head no more. And I feel like our appearance is about to change a little more going into the story. I'm not sure. I read this a hot minute ago before I even read it to you guys. So it's been a hot minute. So forgive me. My memory is pretty mixy. You know what I mean? Anywho, I hope you guys did enjoy it though. What do you guys think is gonna happen next? Do you think that Aizawa will like the xenomorph, aka us? Let me know in the comments down below. I have a peculiar sensation that he will. Probably he will. Sadly, I gotta cut this really short. It is late for me, and your girl has a busy schedule tomorrow, but I really wanted to read this to you guys because I don't want to fall behind. We gotta stay strong, you know. You know, new year, new me, whatever. Anywho, I'm super excited to continue this story. It is amazing. I just love it. I love it with all my heart. Hopefully, in the future, we'll be able to read more stories, either like this or like vigilante stories, because y'all have no idea how I'm so much into vigilante Deku. It is so bad, but it is so good. Because you know what? It just fits. It slays. Da 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 da. Also, sorry for the interruptions constantly in the story. I'm guessing it's the late night giggles. That's what I'm gonna call it. The late night giggles. I think that's what I have. But don't worry. We went through it. We went through it and I read it all. So we're good. Apologies for that though. Hopefully that won't happen too much, but I have a feeling it will. So apologies for that in very, very late advance. Or very, very late. Anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy it though. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more amazing videos, guys. It has been intense out here. If you guys have any suggestions for any stories that we should be reading or whatnot, let me know in the comments down below. If not, I'm probably going to read one of the stories that has been long ago suggested to me that I feel like we should read, you know, because it is well deserved. Anywho, I should get out of y'all's hairs. Bye and peace, y'all.